Hey y'all, Faith Carroll here. For those of you who don't know me, I am an astrologer. I'm an animist energy healer. I'm a writer and an artist. And today we're going to be checking in with the gorgeous energy of the solar eclipse that is happening on April 19th, 2023. And the point of this meditation, the work that we're going to be doing today, is to support you to access your own deep embodied knowing of the meaning of this celestial event for you. So for those of you who don't know so much about my practice, I'm an archetypal astrologer. And so my astrology knowledge is really deeply based in the depth psychology movement and the transcendental psychology movement. And it's also based in my own practice, a spiritual practice of animism. So to me, it's not just that the stars are flat screens upon which we, can gaze and then get objective truth, or, according to many, intensely subjective truth, people who aren't down with astrology, lol. So we don't care about all that. In animism, we're like, oh, the planets are beings. They are beings with consciousness. And we are in relationship with them. How you define that relationship depends on you. To me, the best way to access understanding those relationships is to look at myths, because that is how people have contextualized and beautified those relationships with the stars for thousands of years, those relationships with the planets. And honestly, the best way to connect with the stars is to go out and look at them. Even tomorrow, when the eclipse is happening, those of us up here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're not going to be able to see it. It's happening in the Southern Hemisphere, but we can go out and look at the night sky and just feel into it. Just feel into it. We don't have to be able to see it to feel its beautiful energy. So in archetypal astrology, we have this pretty different assumption than what most astrologers, whether they're pop astrologers or other form of mundane astrologers, have. We have this focus on soul. We have this focus on psychological and soulful processes. And when I say soul, there's a lot of ways to define that term. For me, it really means the animating force of the universe. Whatever it means for you, that is also correct. So we get to play with these words. They don't have to wear just one objective definition. That is patriarchal thinking. And we are in the new world where we get to let all that go. Things are multiple, things are spiralic and circular. So what I sort of bring to my astrological practice is, well, okay, I didn't write anything down for this. For those of you who know me, you know that is a big leap for me, and that is very much in the energy of this eclipse. This eclipse is a new beginning in the places where we are being asked to be courageous and brave and to just do it, to just step into things and just take action. I'm not going to talk too much about the meaning of the eclipse because, again, this is about activating your own innate knowledge of what this means for you. But I will throw little things here and there. So in archetypal astrology, what we assume is that I can look at a chart, I can look at your birth chart, and it can give me lots of information about the archetypal patterns in your life. But what it doesn't tell me is how those archetypal patterns actually play out. Something that people will come to me with is they'll be like, well, don't other people have my same chart? So doesn't that mean astrology isn't true because we're different? So I assume that you have free will. I assume we all have free will. The chart is an invitation that we can choose to do whatever we want with it. We can light the invitation on fire. We can throw it away. We can show up in not according to what the invitation said to wear. It might have said, it's casual, it's a barbecue, and we show up in formal wear. We can send hate mail to the person who sent us the invitation. We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. And how we respond to that invitation, that the birth chart and the transits, which are the planets in the sky and the current moment affecting our birth charts, how we respond to that invitation is who we are. That is our character. So someone can have my exact same chart and they would be a radically different person. But what we would see is we'd see, oh, here's this archetypal invitation. This person decided to shine with that. This person decided to hide it. This person responded in fear. This person responded with responsibility, whatever it is. And it's going to be aligned with whatever the archetypal signatures are of the chart of the planets. Which brings me to maybe my main point, which is in this kind of astrology, we really focus on the planets. The planets are the action. They are the characters of the drama. It doesn't matter if Hamlet or Juliet are dressed as modern people, or if they're dressed as space age people, or they're dressed as ancient people, or, people from the 1500s. The action is the same. Now, how they're dressed, what the sets are, affects, the aesthetic of it, and it helps us get new meanings from the text, from the gorgeous Shakespearean texts. But the deeper patterns remain the same. Hamlet's gonna freak out. Juliet's gonna die. They're both gonna die. But, sorry, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't read Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet yet. So, we focus on the planets because they are the actors of the chart. Now, where they are, the signs and the houses, those are the sets, those are the costumes. It's beautiful. It adds, it's so important. But you could get rid of all of that and you would still have the planets in their core action. I don't know if any of you have ever gone to a Shakespearean reading where there's no sets, they're just holding a text, they're all dressed usually in black or just plain, casual clothes, and they're just reading. And it is beautiful. And you get so much out of it and you hear it in new ways. We don't, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's not that we don't need the signs and the houses. It's that, right, the core information for me as an archetypal astrologer is the planets. And so people have been asking me to do this kind of stuff, to be like, oh, give us horoscopes, give us these kinds of things. And my approach is so different that it's been a little challenging. So to figure out how to do that in a way where folks who aren't immersed in this kind of astrology can really enjoy it and feel supported, and where I can feel like I'm doing something I'm actually interested in and it's authentically an expression of my practice. So I landed on doing these kind of embodied animist meditations. So we're going to see how it goes. What I will say is that the signs are processes, symbolic processes that our psyches go through, right? The parts of our psyches, we are all multiple. And that's one of the things I love about astrology, is it reminds us of that, right? You aren't a singular unified experience that is represented in the chart by the sun, that illusion, but actually you are multiple, right? You are your will, you are your mind, you are your heart, you are your desires, you are your spiritual experiences of awe and wonder, you are your addictions, you are your limits, right? You are all these things. And all these things are represented beautifully in the chart. So today, I just did a very long spiel. Thank you all for sticking with me. And yes, okay, so we're going to shift course. I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the sky for this solar eclipse. And I'm going to share my screen to do that. So you can see what I'm looking at. Don't worry, if you don't speak astrology, you don't have to. Okay, so let me just get this out of my way. Okay, so don't worry if you're like, I have no idea what this means. if y'all are interested in understanding how to understand a chart, especially from my perspective, let me know. I'm super open to doing a video on that. But so we can see here that the solar eclipse is occurring on April 19th at 11:12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And here it is. We see the sun and the moon. They're right next to each other. They're conjunct. They're right next to each other. They're both at 29 degrees and 50 minutes of Aries. This little glyph is Aries. And just look at that or feel into that image. If you're not looking, just feel into that. The sun and the moon exactly next to each other in the sky. This is the new moon position. This is a position of endings and beginnings. This is when we plant seeds and intentions. This is the most potent time. This is when things are being birthed. All is possible still at this moment. But then when we keep looking at the chart, we see that this dynamic is this little red line. It's squaring. You can see there's a little square. It means it's in a 90-degree angle to Pluto, the planet of transformation, of metamorphosis, of power. Oh, wow. This is big, beautiful energy. There is a massive amount of energy infusing this new moon position, this new beginning in Aries, the sign of new beginnings. It is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the beginning of things. Many people think of Aries as like they're go-getters. They act without thinking. I follow evolutionary astrology, which says that we are here. The signs are processes that we evolve through and into. And so in Aries, it's the evolution of our courage. It's the evolution of our will, our willingness to be who we are and to express our life force fully and to hopefully accept the consequences of that in a graceful way. Doesn't have to be, though. There's no limits on how we can do that. Both Mars and Athena in Greek mythology are represented by the planet Mars and Aries. Athena as like the wise warrior, Mars as like the petty, greedy, just kind of not super smart warrior. Really can go both ways. So we can go more into the chart, all that stuff, but you don't need all that stuff. And there are tons of other astrologers who can explain to you everything that is happening in the sky and what it means. I just wanted you to kind of get a glimpse. Oh, and also, so in case you're like, what makes an eclipse? Because new moons happen all the time. So the thing that makes this an eclipse is we see the sun and the moon, and we see these little glyphs here. These are the nodes. The nodes don't exist in the sky. You're not going to find them if you go out and stargaze. Where they exist is in math. So the nodes are symbols of the sun and moon's relationship as they move through the sky. And the sun and moon are in an 18-year cycle together. Every 18 years, the nodes begin again. Okay, that isn't necessary. So the closer an eclipse is to the nodes, the more complete, the more full an eclipse is. And so when, as a planet lover, when I'm going to stop sharing, when we are thinking about an eclipse, we are thinking about always the relationship between the sun and the moon. I'm going to say very briefly a little bit about what the sun and the moon tend to represent in astrology. The sun tends to be our solar identity, which is culturally determined. These things are all culturally determined. In another culture, it's going to mean something else. And that is just as valid and true and gorgeous and rich. And that's why we are so lucky in our global society to be able to learn from astrologers of all different cultures, because we get to learn different perspectives and we get to see beyond our our blinders, our limited perspectives from our own culture. So in our very solar culture, right, the sun is it's more like the self that is seen, the self that shines, right? I mean, the sun, right? The place where we shine, the place where we glow, the place where our life force just fills up the room and fills us up. Yeah, that feels good. That feels enough. The moon, right? It is our inner world. It is more of our secret world. It's often considered our emotional world, our family world, right? The lunar world, the lunar realms, the body. And again, that's going to depend on what the sun and the moon in your chart, what they're related to, what planets they're connected to, how that is experienced by you, what sign and house it's in, and also how you were raised, how you grew up at the intersection of what cultures, just the life experiences that you had are really going to determine how you experience that. Some people really express their emotions and really hide everything else about themselves, So please, I just encourage you to keep an open mind about what these things mean. The thing that I see happen the most that really makes me sad is folks take on what astrologers say as gospel truth, as dogma, as like, well, this is what this means, instead of like, this is a useful lens that we can put on and take off. And then we can put on another lens and take it off and put on another lens and take it off. And as an archetypal astrologer, let me tell you, I love my lens. I think I have a good lens. And some days I even feel like I have the right lens, but feeling like you have the right lens is such a great way to get trapped in thinking that really isn't going to serve you. So we're letting that thinking go. Okay, so I encourage you at this time just to take a moment. You're sitting, standing, laying down. If you're doing stuff, just kind of come to center, take a moment. We're going to do a little meditation. You can have a notebook handy if you want to. If you want to write down what comes through. If you are someone who journeys or does any form of trance work, if you want to get drumming or rattling or on out accessible, if you want to get a rattle out or a drum out. If you don't have those kinds of skills, don't worry. You don't need them to connect in with your highest wisdom and your body's knowledge and to access whatever the celestial guides have waiting for you. So, but if you do, you might want to get that ready. And either way, how do you create sacred space? Do you light incense or a candle? Do you turn down the lights? Do you just take a few breaths? What is it that you do to come into your center? And something that a lot of folks say that I really like is drop into your heart. So we're going to drop into our hearts. And we are going to ask the planets to come in, and we're going to ask questions and just see what arises. Feel your feet on the floor if they're on the floor. Feel whatever is supporting you, the ground beneath you. Notice what support is there for you and breathe into it. Notice as your rib cage expands and contracts, the support in your bones, the support available from your body. And notice beneath the chair, the bed, the floor, and beneath that, the earth. And we extend our appreciation and awareness to the beautiful land that we are all on, extending gratitude to peoples who have cared for these lands that we are on, to our ancestors, to the ancestors of these places. Then we extend that awareness down deep, deep through all the layers of soil and decomposing matter and rocks and underground waters into the fiery core of the earth. And we acknowledge the element of fire. We acknowledge the element of water. We acknowledge the element of earth. And we bring their power and support back up with us through all the layers, allowing in only the highest vibrational energies into our fields, into our bodies, into our spaces, and bringing that highest vibrational expression of that beautiful, supportive, fiery, deep energy into our bodies. And take another breath. Let your breaths be comfortable and open. If that means your breaths are deep, lovely, don't force your breath to be anything. Notice the breath expanding and bring your attention to any place where maybe you could use a little more circulation, a little more flow, a little more ease. And invite softness into those places, into your neck, in your shoulders, into your jaw, into your ribs, into your belly, into your pelvic bowl. Anywhere you can use some softness, some openness, just breathe into those places. Then we continue our attention going up, 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 out the tops of our heads, through the roofs of our homes, through the clouds and the treetops and the mountaintops, up into the sky, through the ethers, into the stars. And we say hello to the stars, to the planets, to the nebulas, to the dark matter, dark energy, to the unknown, to the great mystery. And we invite awe into our hearts, all that is unknown. And we welcome in the element of air. There are other elements here. I mean, literally, there is no air in space, right? There's no oxygen, but the element of air is not limited to oxygen. It is any gaseous substance. We welcome in the fire of the stars, the moisture of the heavens. We welcome in the earth, the solidity of other planets. We honor the sun and the moon as they prepare to enter their new moon position, preparing to start a new monthly cycle, a monthly cycle. And we call upon and ask for the wisdom and support of Mercury. Mercury is entering retrograde. It's currently stationary, but it is still available to hear our prayers and our gratitude and our honor. We welcome in Mercury. We welcome in Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And we tip our hat to the asteroids, especially Chiron, welcoming in that celestial energy. And we bring it back in, back down through the heavens, through the clouds, through the treetops, through the roofs, back into us, this clear-sighted, vibrant energy. And there's all these gorgeous chords that always exist between you and all beings, right? We are so connected. These are chords that we have agency around. These are not limiting chords. They're cords of support and connection, of vibrancy, that we can choose to activate to get that love and connection, to get that wisdom from the earth, from the stars. And right now, you are so connected. You're all so connected to the beautiful conscious planet that we dwell on, the earth, this beautiful place that we get to be part of the ecosystem of, right? Like cells and bacteria dwell within us. We dwell within the earth. And then there's all the beautiful stars, all the beautiful planets that also dwell within us and that we dwell within. We dwell within their realm. Okay. So we're going to start with the sun. And again, just to remind you, we are in a protected place. The protector beings are standing at the four corners of our hearts, minds, and bodies, the four corners of the spaces, the land, the sacred territories, the watersheds, the nations, the planet, the solar systems, the galaxies, the universes. I know we're all part of the same galaxy, but who knows? Maybe someday someone will listen to this who's from another galaxy. So we would just want to include them, include the future. I can tell the Mercury is conjunct Uranus, the planet of the future, and it's speaking through me. We are protected. We are seen and held by our benevolent guides and our benevolent well ancestors. And if they haven't already joined you, welcome in those beings, those you know. And if you don't know any of your guides, just welcome them in, trusting that they're showing up in the best way, in the highest vibrational way for you, with love, with support, and that they know exactly how to keep you safe and grounded. Setting that intention that during this journey, we are not leaving our bodies. And by journey, I mean meditation, this path we will travel. And we are not leaving our bodies, but we are going deeper into our bodies because our bodies are made literally of stardust. They are the most accurate tuning forks to what the planets offer. For days, I have been feeling jittery and angry and irritable and restless. That is such Aries energy for me. It's so Mars. Now, for you, it might be something different. It might be something different. How have you been feeling? What have you been noticing in your body? Has there been things that have really been pushing to the forefront of your experience? Is there energy in your body that you don't know what to do with, be it sadness or anger or frustration or joy or wonder or confusion? What's in your body that you're like, wow, what do I do with this? Just notice, just notice, just notice. And we welcome in the sun. We welcome the sun's energy into your body. And you can ask, what wisdom do you have for me? Who are you in me? How does my sun shine? Where do I shine? Where am I the sun? Where is the sun in me? And there may be an image or a word. There may be lots of words. Just notice. Just notice. Notice the sun within you. It might feel imbalancing. It might feel gathering. Just notice. It's just information. We're going to ask the sun to move to the side for a moment, saying thank you. It's still with us. It's just moving to the side. And we're going to welcome in the moon. And we're going to welcome in the moon, and we're going to ask the moon to come into our fields, in its most benevolent, high vibrational form. Come in, moon. Where do you notice the moon in your body? For me, I immediately put my hands on my heart. I didn't even think about it. You might notice the moon in your feet or your head. There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong way. Where is the moon? What does it evoke for you? What wisdom does it have? How do you express your moonness? How does it inhabit you? How do you inhabit it? And if at any time you want to pause this recording to spend more time with a planet or with a question, you can. I encourage you to do so. So notice what's different about the moon than the sun. What's different about this energy? Maybe it's not as obvious. Maybe it's subtler. Maybe it's easier for you to pick up on this energy. It really depends on the kind of person you are, how old you are, the culture you're from. Okay. Now we're going to welcome the sun back in, and we're going to ask the sun and the moon to merge themselves within us, and we're going to feel that new moon energy. Whoa. I don't know how it's all feeling for y'all, but that is potent. That is potent stuff. Just notice, is it an image? Is it a bodily sensation? Is it a pain? Do you feel tired suddenly? Just notice. Maybe suddenly you're thinking about other things, or you remember you were supposed to talk to a friend. That's okay. Just notice. Your experience is exactly right. And we have this beautiful new moon energy pulsating within us. What is the new moon for you? What is its wisdom? And we're asking generally right now. What is its wisdom? How does the new moon express in your life? What is your attunement to this energy, this vibration? And again, if you want to keep inhabiting that space, you can pause this recording. But we're going to add in another layer, another element. We're going to welcome in the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. The ram. Oh, a fire sign, the first fire sign, Aries. Welcome Aries into your body. And notice what your body wants to do. And I should have said this earlier, at any time, if you feel the need to move to hold these planetary energies, this is big stuff we're welcoming in. You can move, you can listen, put on headphones, move around, stretch. Let your body stretch into these energies. Just notice, what do you desire? What do you want? Where is your will bringing you? What do you want? Where do you feel this? Is it in your mind? Is it thoughts? Is it stories? That's okay. Is it memories? That's okay. Is it in your body, a vibration? Whatever it is, just notice. Notice what's in your breath. How are you breathing with this new moon in Aries within you? Oh. What's your heart doing? You can put a hand on your heart. You may be able to just hear your heart. You can put a hand on your wrist, on your pulse. Notice what's your blood doing. What are your bones doing? What are your muscles doing? And you can move, and again, just keep stretching. And you may not know. You may not know what it's doing. There might be no words. There might be no image. But you might want to shake it out. Or you might want to roll your shoulders or yawn. Notice. Just notice and allow. And at any time, you can write down what you're noticing, write down what you're experiencing. And we're going to bring in that little final layer, well, not final layer, critical layer, the nodes. We're going to bring in the nodes, this mathematical relationship, the symbol of the relationship between the sun and the moon, the two core celestial bodies for our planet, the two core celestial bodies for our psyches that represent us, who you are, who I am, who we are. We are defined. The earth is defined by our relationship to the sun and the moon. We could not exist as we do without them. They create the seasons and the oceans and the waves and all of these things that allowed us to evolve into the beings that we are. Oh. That relationship throughout time is symbolized by the nodes. Welcome that relationship. Welcome it. Feel it going back to time immemorial. Oh, it's so ancient. It's so old. Feel it stretching out into the future. I think the sun is gonna die in like 5 billion years, maybe 500 billion years. I read this recently. I don't remember. A long time. That's a long time. When we can put in a number, it seems short. That is so long. It extends so far. This relationship is so big and wild and beautiful, and we can understand it mathematically through tracking it. And that is such a gorgeous way to understand it. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to know that. You can feel it in your body. Feel the breadth and depth and wildness and fullness of the sun and moon's relationship. Feel it. Oh, gosh. Hold it in your body. And ask the sun and the moon within you in Aries, conjunct the nodes. What wisdom does this eclipse have for me? Images, words, feelings, notice them, write them down. And you can ask, what am I beginning? What seed is being planted for me? Notice, feel, listen, see. There's no right way for information to come in. And you may just want to lay there and soak up the energy. You don't want your mind to be involved. You don't want to ask questions. You don't want to write it down. That's fine too. Just let yourself lay and enjoy this energy and trust this energy within you as it transforms you. Empowered by Pluto, it transforms you. What seeds am I planting? What new worlds await? And whatever became clear when you brought in Aries, what does that mean for you? What does that energy mean for you? Where are you being asked to start new? Where are you asked to be courageous? Where is your will, your life force energy going? Let the answers just come. Don't push. It may just be a word or an image or a feeling or a sensation or a desire to move, to shake it out. Just trust it. And then You can ask, how can I best take advantage of the invitation here? What is the invitation and how can I best take advantage of it? You can ask for blessings at this time, blessings for trust, for ease in this process, blessings for your body. You can ask if there is a place of difficulty or growth or learning for you right now. What is that place? You can ask, where can I get support around it? You can journal and free write the answer. You can find it in your body and move through it, into it. You can journey about it with this trusted guide. Pause this recording and journey for 5 minutes. All of the answers for what this magic, this medicine of this time is for you, is in your body, is in your heart. Trust whatever arises. Trust whatever arises. And ask if there's any other planets that want to bring their wisdom, any other guides who want to bring you wisdom at this time. You can ask for it to come in. What do I need to know? How do I need to feel? Is there an energetic attunement I need? Is there a blessing I need? And I think the real true deep invitation here for all of us is to recognize this energy, to recognize the energy of new beginnings. That's what this energy is. It's the energy of new beginnings. And if you can learn to recognize that in your body, when it comes again, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm afraid, or oh my God, this is so overwhelming, or oh my God, and those things all may be true. And those are beautiful, true things about being a human that we feel that way. You can know, oh, also, this is the feeling of new beginnings. Something's beginning now. You can go in and you can ask, what is it? When you ask that question, it may not be clear, and that's okay. It's going to be different for every one of you, depending on what's happening in your chart right now, what's happening in your chart today, tomorrow, who you were when you were born, who you decided to be. Take a few deep breaths and ask if there's any last parting wisdom, any last parting information, any last parting blessings. And say thank you to the nodes, this knowledge of the planetary, of the sun and the moon and their alignments moving throughout time, and let it go. You can toss it up into the air and leak out of you and melt away. Let that relationship go, knowing that you've been touched and transformed through connecting with it, that you can connect again at any time. Now let the energy of Aries go, knowing that it is part of you. We all hold Aries in our charts, whether or not we have planets in that sign. Say thank you and let it go. Let it go. Now there's the sun and the moon within you, and say thank you and let the moon go. Let it go. Noticing any parting wisdom, any last thoughts. Noticing how it feels as they leave. And again, you don't have to understand it. Just feel it. Feeling it consciously is a lifelong process of being a spiritual being in a body who is creating and gaining wisdom. And now we're going to let go of the sun. We're going to let it go, ask it to leave, go back to the sky. We watch it rise up and get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It had to get so small to fit in us. Or however it looks, however you're experiencing it. And come back to your heart, come back to your center. Feel yourself, you in this moment in time. Take a moment, shake your arms. Roll your head back and forth, shake your legs. You might want to stand up and shake it out. Do whatever you got to do. Take it out and say thank you. Say thank you to the above and the below. Say thank you to the elements still swirling in your body: earth, air, fire, and water. Air, water, fire, earth. Say thank you. And come back to the room. Come back to the space. Look around you. Notice where you are. And if you want to take a few minutes and just enjoy how you're feeling in your body, just enjoy it. Maybe take some notes. Maybe some of the information that came through is going to inspire you to take some action on something. Maybe got some clarity. Maybe you're just, I'm filled with some good energy. Maybe it's time to take a first step. This new moon, don't overdo it. It's a time of beginnings, and Mercury retrograde is about to start. So you're being asked to step into something new. And then a few days later, you're being asked to go on a 3-week vacation from everything. So just know that this is it, right? The eclipse cycles, nodal cycles are long. You're going to be in this cycle for over a year, this energy. This is just the first eclipse in in Aries. It's the first, and at least a year and a half we're going to be dealing with this new energy. So there's no rush. But what seeds are you planting? That's the question to ask for yourself. You can do this at any time. You can go and connect with the stars and the planets. They have information specially tailored for you, for your body, for your body knows how to attune to it because it is made of stardust. And if you're like, that wasn't enough, I encourage you to contact an astrologer, your usual astrologer, me, whoever, if you want to get more information. There's so many great astrologers who are talking about the energy of this eclipse. You can go and look it up if you're like, okay, that was great, Faith, but there's also that part of me that's like, I want real objective knowledge from the astrologer. Nothing wrong with that. Me too. I get so many astrology newsletters and I read all of them. I read at least 10. So no judgment, but just know that no one's knowledge and authority about your experience trumps yours. You are the authority on your body, your experience, and you co-create your reality, your life with the planets, with the stars, with the earth, with all the beings on the earth, with all the beings within you. And so we close this circle. Feel your feet on the ground. Say thank you to your body and your heart for their willingness to go on that journey. Thank you for being with me in this space. I hope this has been supportive and helpful. And I hope to do more of these meditation videos. So please share with others if it resonated with you. Yeah, okay. Mwah. Be well. Blessings all.